Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a speed painting of this cute little cardinal that I have done for Christmas. Christmas is one of my favourite holidays of the year. I love the feeling it gives me, and of course it's all about family time for me, so I tend to spend a lot of time with my family, giving gifts, and all sorts of stuff like that. So for this cardinal, I'm starting out with a yellow background, using some yellow ochre and a big brush just to spread that all around. I wanted to have this piece feel warm and inviting, typically because Christmas, despite it being in winter, always has a warm and inviting feeling for me. It just has that effect and I really like it. So what I'm doing now is I'm stippling on some different colours. I'm using a deep cadmium yellow hue to give the background a bit more vibrance, and then I will eventually stipple on some brown around the edges to draw the eye in, as well as some white in the centre around the cardinal, so it will really pop out and stand out of the page or of the canvas board. I am working on an 11 by 14 canvas board, in case anyone is wondering. It's just a nice cute little piece that I decided to do. This little cardinal will be going up for adoption, as I like to say, so if anybody wants a cute little decoration in their home for the Christmas holidays, he is available. You can contact me through my email for that if you are interested. So I'm just stippling over some extra yellow ochre so it blends better and it's not so harsh to the eyes, before adding in a little bit of white to the centre to make the cardinal stand out. Now going in with the red, we're going to start on the cardinal, mixing it with a little bit of black to create the values first. I typically work in a sort of 4-step process with my paintings. The first step being what I'm doing now, which is the base layer, which is sort of the value layer of everything. Though I find this step really easy to do, it's just a great sort of place to start with your paintings. Working with the lights first, then worrying about the details later, really helps you achieve a realistic look in your paintings. Going in with a pure red now, just to create a bit of a mid-tone. And then of course I'm mixing a little bit of white in with that red to create the higher lighted tones. I'm leaving the beak and the sort of face area alone for now. I'm going to fill that in just a second. I just sort of decided to get the first few layers done on the actual bird body itself and then go back to the face, just because it was super quick and easy to do that. Now I'm going in with a rake brush and a bit of a lighter pinkish colour, and I'm starting to add in the little feather clumps throughout the body, more in the highlighted areas, just concentrating it around there to give it a bit of texture, so that he doesn't look so blotchy from the previous layer. And I'm also going to start filling in his face as well, just so it wasn't left blank. Pretty much doing a similar thing as I did to the body, using black or pure black in the darkest areas on the face and then leaving a few little gaps for some grey areas so that they looked like they were highlighted. Also doing the same for his legs. And then adding an even brighter tone to the black areas on the bird. And then finally I'm going to let this completely dry before we move on to the next stage, just adding in a few dark areas with some washed out black so it adds a real nice shadow to certain areas that I want to deepen down. The next stage is the glazing phase, and you typically want to make sure your layer is completely dry before you put any glaze on, otherwise you're going to get some muddying issues and you're going to lose any work that you've pretty much done, all that texture underneath. Glazing is just simply tinting colour over the top. It helps boost the vibrancy as well as brings out any of those shadows and highlights, anything like that. Also moving to fill in the beak, I'm actually using a mixture of colours, some reds, yellows, creamy colours, a little bit of brown as well, just to dull down the shadows a tiny bit. And then using that really pale yellow to highlight the areas on the beak. And then switching back to my little rake brush and a slightly brighter pink, and then going back over the body, choosing the areas that would be the most highlighted. The lighter you go, the more sparing you want to be. In the case of highlights, I often find that less is more, so it is often a good idea to really focus it on some certain areas, but don't cover all the work that you've just done with your highlights, otherwise it won't look good. And then finally going in with some pure white, adding in a few tufts here and there, especially where the leg connects to the body. I added a bit of a tuft there so it would look like it actually connected and wasn't sitting on top. Adding a few details to his tail feathers, and then finally moving on to the eye and the beak and highlighting all of those areas. I'm just filling in the eye with pure black and of course highlighting with some pure white. Now moving on to the candy cane, simply taking a small flat brush and just drawing out a basic candy cane shape and then kind of refining it as I go, just making sure it looks somewhat even. I didn't really draw a pencil version of this, I just kind of went for it, so it may look a little bit wonky, but that's fine. And then taking a detail brush and adding some stripes with pure red, kind of doing a thick to thin stripe, and then eventually I go back over the top of all the thick stripes with a pinky colour, and then also add in another stripe of a darker red colour. Now I'm going in with that same flat brush I was using before and the same washed out black colour that we were using, and we're going to start to shade our candy cane. Now I'm shading it compared to the lighting that we're using, so if the light is on the left side of the bird, then obviously we'd have to keep that in mind as we paint with our candy cane. Obviously where the bird is perching it's going to be a little darker because the bird will be casting a form of shadow on that, so do keep that in mind. But pretty much it's pretty easy to shade a candy cane, it's just a long shiny stick at the end of the day. And then I'm taking that brush, washing it out, and then using some titanium white to add a long highlight going down the length of the cane. This just gives it a realistic candy cane look. And now I'm going in and touching up any of the stripes that look a little lost. I'll also be going in with a detail brush in the red as well, just to bring out some of the vibrancy in some of the stripes. Again, they may have got a little bit lost with the shadows. And that will pretty much be everything for this little cardinal tutorial. If you want to see a longer version of this painting, then you can head over to my Patreon where you can get access to that and lots of other things as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this content, then leave a like and maybe subscribe. I hope you guys have a fantastic December month. I know it's kind of the holiday time of year. Everyone's looking forward to Christmas. It's honestly my favorite holiday. So thank you again, and I will see you all next time.